Depression does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it enters quietly, disguised as tiredness, as a loss of interest, as a numbness that slowly drains color from life. Many people believe depression is sadness, but sadness still allows you to feel. Depression is the absence of feeling. It is waking up without resistance, without desire, without a clear reason to move forward, yet carrying an invisible weight that makes even simple actions feel heavy. For a long time, I did not know I was depressed. I thought I was just unmotivated. I thought I was lazy. I thought something was wrong with my character. And that belief was the most dangerous part. Depression thrives in misunderstanding. When you mislabel it, you begin to fight yourself instead of the condition. What no one tells you is that depression is not just emotional. It is neurological. It is physiological. It is a state where the brain has learned helplessness. When the mind experiences repeated stress, disappointment, or emotional pain without resolution, it adapts by shutting down expectation. Hope becomes dangerous. Desire feels unsafe. So the system goes quiet. The world keeps moving, but internally, everything slows. I would sit in silence, scrolling through my phone, not because I enjoyed it, but because it required no effort. Dopamine came in short, artificial bursts, followed by deeper emptiness. Days blurred together, nights stretched endlessly. Sleep did not restore me, it only reset the cycle. People around me said the usual things. Be grateful, think positive, you just need motivation. They meant well, but they didn't understand. You cannot motivate a nervous system that is exhausted. You cannot think positively when your brain chemistry is working against you. Depression makes you feel like life is happening behind glass. You can see it, but you are not part of it. The first step that no one talks about is this. I stopped trying to feel better. That sounds strange, but it changed everything. I realized that my constant effort to escape depression was reinforcing it. Every day I woke up asking, why am I still like this? Every comparison, every self-judgment, every attempt to force happiness told my brain that something was wrong with me. And the brain responds to perceived threat by tightening, not opening. Instead of chasing relief, I focused on regulation. Regulation is different from happiness. Regulation is about making your nervous system feel safe again. Depression is not healed by inspiration. It is healed by stability. I began with the smallest possible commitments, not goals, not visions of the future, just anchors. I woke up at the same time every day, even when I didn't want to. Not to be productive, but to give my brain predictability. Predictability creates safety. Safety allows healing. I exposed my body to natural light in the morning. 10 minutes, no phone. No stimulation, just light. This was not symbolic. It was biological. Light resets circadian rhythms and supports neurotransmitter balance. Depression often worsens when the body loses its internal clock. I moved my body gently, not intense workouts. Just walking. Movement tells the brain that you are not trapped. That energy can flow again. Slowly, the fog began to thin. Not dramatically. Not all at once, but enough for me to notice that something was shifting. Another truth no one tells you, depression feeds on isolation, but connection does not mean conversation. Sometimes connection is simply being in the presence of life. Sitting in a park, watching people walk, hearing sound without participating. I stopped demanding meaning from my days. I stopped asking them to be special. I allowed them to be neutral. Neutral is powerful when you've been stuck in darkness. As my system stabilized, I began to notice patterns. I noticed how my thoughts were not random. They followed grooves carved by repetition, self-blame, hopeless narratives. Imagined futures where nothing changed. Depression is not just a feeling. It is a story the mind repeats until it feels like truth. Awareness was the next layer of healing. I did not argue with my thoughts. I observed them. When the mind said, "This will never change," I did not respond with optimism. I responded with curiosity. This is a familiar thought, that distance mattered. You cannot heal what you believe is your identity. At some point in this process, I realized that navigating this alone was unnecessary. There were structured materials designed to help people understand depression, reframe internal narratives, and rebuild mental stability step by step. Resources that reorganize the mind and break destructive patterns, the links are in the description. Healing accelerated when I stopped seeing depression as an enemy and started seeing it as a signal. A signal that my system had been overwhelmed for too long. A signal that something needed to change, not be suppressed. I changed how I spoke to myself, not with affirmations, but with neutrality. You are allowed to be here. You do not need to fix everything today. Compassion is not weakness. It is regulation. As weeks passed, energy returned in fragments. Motivation did not appear suddenly. It followed action. The brain learns through behavior. Each small action reinforced the idea that I was capable of movement again. I learned that depression shrinks your world. Healing expands it slowly. I simplified my environment. Reduce noise, reduce commitments, reduce consumption. Depression is aggravated by overload. Healing requires subtraction. I rebuilt my body alongside my mind. Cleaner food, more water, less stimulation. Nutrition is not separate from mental health. The brain is an organ. It responds to what you feed it. Prayer and silence became part of my routine, not asking for miracles, just sitting in stillness, allowing space, allowing breath. Sometimes spirituality is not belief, it is surrender. The biggest lie depression tells you is that you are alone. You are not. You are disconnected from yourself, and reconnection is a process. There were setbacks, days when the heaviness returned, but this time I did not panic. I understood that healing is nonlinear. Setbacks are not failure. They are part of recalibration. The first step no one talks about is not confidence, not positivity, not ambition. It is safety. When the mind feels safe, it begins to open. When it opens, clarity follows. When clarity returns, purpose slowly reemerges. I did not defeat depression by fighting it. I outgrew it by stabilizing my system and rebuilding my identity piece by piece. If you are in that dark place now, hear this clearly. You are not broken. Your system is overwhelmed, and overwhelmed systems can heal. Over time, deeper clarity came through ebooks and guidance materials that helped me understand the mind, break cycles of emotional pain, and rebuild life from within. If you feel ready for that step, the links are in the description. Depression does not define you. It is a chapter, not the story. When the mind changes, the body responds. When the body aligns, life transforms, like the video. Subscribe to the Mind Forge and begin forging your life from the inside out.